Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the second and final Autumn 2022 Season 1 Roundup from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go, we're going to get something like 14 or 15 long-range miles together, see what they're all showing for Autumn 2022 for only the second time this season, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. There's no autumn forecast from GavsWeatherVids this year, so with all of the various crises and dramas and dilemmas that have been going on, I have not done any long range since we signed off on the winter forecast of 2021-2022 at the end of last year. So we missed out like spring, summer, and also autumn updates and forecasts. We are going to be back with the long range though for winter 2022-2023, and that will be in just over a week's time, actually, on Sunday the 4th of September. So that's going to be an interesting watch, I think, and we'll be doing long range, back doing the long range from September. But I have done one season 1 roundup for the autumn. This is the second one, so we'll have a quick look and see what all the long range ones are showing. I shall get on with that for you. Right now, I think, actually, thank you so much, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe on the videos, and we thank you so much for doing that. Right, so let's start off with CANSIPS then. So this is the CANSIPS mean sea level pressure anomaly for autumn 2022, September, October, November. All of these ones, by the way, will be looking at the full autumn period. There's no messing around being 1 month short and whatnot. So this is a full autumn look at. CANSIP showing high pressure in off the Atlantic into western parts of Europe. So it looks rather anticyclonic. There is low pressure up to the north, but for us it looks like we're under a ridge of high pressure. Temperature anomalies from CANSIPS for autumn 2022 are forecast to be above average, a warmer than average autumn to come, and also under high pressure, drier than average as well. So a dry and relatively warm autumn is on the way if CANSIPS is right. Moving on to the NMME suite of models next. So we've got the temperature anomaly forecast from NASA. First of all, going for above average temperatures for autumn 2022 from NASA. Not much of a single for precipitation, a little bit drier than normal just to our north, near normal rainfall further south. It looks as though like it's a westerly setup for this autumn. It's a bit drier than average down here, actually Azores high. I would have thought it's a bit wetter than average to the north of Scotland and going over to Scandinavia. So it looks like a fairly standard sort of westerly type setup. And probably a little bit more unsettled than like CANSIPS was showing anyway. This is how GM is looking. The GM going for slightly above average temperatures, but only ever so slightly, actually. That one's closer to normal, to be honest. It is rather drier than average as well, so that's perhaps a little bit more in line with what CANSIPS was showing. Looking generally dry through much of the North Atlantic. It is a little bit drier than normal to the north as well, but around Iceland, for example, looks a little bit drier through there. Much of northern Europe over here looks quite dry as well, so plenty of high pressure around this autumn, and maybe that accounts for the temperature not being as warm, because I suppose particularly later on in the season, if there's still lots of high pressure going on in November, then we probably start generating colder weather and night frost. And then we've got NCAR, which looks like that, rather above average temperatures from NCAR. And similar to like the NASA model, in that it's drier than average just to south and southwest, wetter than average to our north. So again, that looks very sort of standard westerly type autumn setup from NCAR. IRI probability forecast is, of course, the International Research Institute for Climate and Society from Columbia Climate University and School. Temperature probabilities favouring above average temperatures this autumn, not only for the UK but for most parts of Europe. Near north of Scotland, but for Ireland, England and Wales in most red colours, so above normal temperatures are favoured by about 45 to 50%. And as far as precipitation probabilities are concerned, so maybe favouring ever so slightly below normal rainfall for the north with that yellow splodge just there, and no particular signal actually elsewhere. So the signal is stronger for temperature than it is for precipitation with those probability maps. Peng's analogues look like this. Remember, Peng doing things a little bit different to all of the other models. This is not a model-based forecast as such. Peng is looking at sea surface temperature anomalies across the Earth in any given month, in this case during July 2022, and then compares back to past years with similar sea surface temperature anomalies and creates analogues based weather forecasts, based on those sea surface temperature anomalies. Quite an interesting anomaly from Peng in terms of a 200 millibar height anomaly for this autumn, with high pressure to our west and also to our north as well, and hints of a bit of blocking actually up here around Svalbard. So sorry, everyone. So yeah, a little bit of hints of blocking to the north and west, and possibly bringing wind from more of a northeasterly direction there, perhaps. So the temperature anomaly hints at being average to a little bit above, but not as excessively warm as it has been through most of this year. Actually near a normal temperature, just ever slightly above average with Peng's analogues. And of course, with so much high pressure around, it's a drier than average autumn being predicted as well. So mild-ish dry, but with some potential to get cold, especially later on with those winds in from the east and from the northeast. CFSV2 finally, and then we're done with CFSV2, and then we're done finally with the American models. Not done with the models overall, there's still plenty to get through. But for the North American models, this is the last one. CFSV2, 700 millibar height anomaly, showing above average heights to our south, probably some lower pressure up to the north. It doesn't really show that. It looks rather flat and westerly. That looks like a continuation of the pattern we've had for most of the year, really, from the CFS. So a warmer than average autumn, milder than average autumn coming up. The whole of Europe is included in that, by the look of it. And precipitation-wise, not much of a signal. It's dry than average just to our south, around Spain, Portugal, and into France. Wetter than average to our north. So, it looks like a continuation of the pattern that we've had through the year and through the summer and whatnot. So warm weather goes on into the autumn. That's probably quite a dryish pattern too. Right, off to Europe. Starting off with the ECMWF. So this is how the mean cell pressure anomaly is looking from the ECMWF model for the autumn of 2022. And again, we find that it's similar to the pattern we've had previous years so far. Really high pressure in off the Atlantic into western parts of Europe. Probably lower pressure up here as well. The ECMWF seas model temperature anomaly forecast looks like that, above average temperatures by about 0.5 degree to 1 degree above average. And the precipitation anomaly is similar to quite a few of the models we've seen so far, dry than average just to our south, wetter than average just to our north. Looks like a rather flat, westerly type autumn setup. Copernicus suite of models next. So this is Meteo France. Mean cell pressure anomaly. Looks very similar to the ECM, actually, with again high pressure in the Atlantic. Maybe just a little bit further north, though, with that high pressure in the North Atlantic with Meteo France. So possibly a little bit more of a northwest-southeast alignment to jet stream, but otherwise does look quite similar to what the ECMWF model is showing. Temperature anomaly is coming out above average, on average autumn being predicted. 0.5 degree to 1 degree above normal, and precipitation-wise, largely drier than an average autumn expected as well, or a little bit drier than average autumn expected there. DWD, German model, looks like that. Once again, we find with mean cell pressure on it, there's plenty of high pressure from the Atlantic into West Europe. So the dry spell's going to go on. If these models are correct, I think we say the dry spell is probably going to carry on into this autumn. The drought continues. From the autumn. Remember, they are 3-monthly anomalies, so there could be a wet month in there. We might get a wet September and then 2 dry months in October and November. I might do it a bit different. We might get 2 dry months for September, October, and then November's a wet month. You know, something like that can be going on within a 3-monthly anomaly. But overall, it does look as though this is going to be quite a dryish autumn, I think, with a lot of these models. Temperature anomaly, again, above average, one degree above average or so with Meteo France, and the precipitation, with DWD I should say, and the precipitation anomaly close to average. Close to average there with DWD. We've got the ECCC. So have a look at that one with high pressure in off the Atlantic going over to northern parts of Europe as well. Slightly weaker pressure through here might allow something a bit more unsettled at times, but it is an anticyclone signal. The temperature anomaly from the ECCC is above average by about half degree to 1 degree, and the temperature anomaly is a bit wetter than average just to our north and a little bit drier than average just to our south. And then we've got the CMCC, which is the Mediterranean model with high pressure again, similar signal, ridging in off the Atlantic into the UK and Ireland. So plenty of high pressure in the Atlantic. The CMCC going for above average temperatures during the autumn of 2022. Nothing below average at all yet, is there? Many of these models. And then the precipitation only is close to average, but maybe slightly wetter. Just ever so slightly wetter, perhaps close to the UK with that model. And then finally, we've got the JMA, the Japanese model, taking us from Europe into Asia, of course. So this one showing higher pressure in the Atlantic again to our west and southwest, some low pressure up there. Winds look like they're flat and westerly and whatnot. Temperature anomaly from the JMA is forecast to be above average for autumn 2022. And the precipitation anomaly is close to normal, but could be a little bit wetter just to our east. All much of a muchness, really. There's not many of the models are going for a wet autumn, and none of them so far have gone for a colder than average autumn. We're nearly at the end now. This is the Beijing Climate Center. 500 millibar high anomaly. Again, it's very similar. High pressure is in the Atlantic. Maybe a little bit further north, though, with the high pressure with this one. The Atlantic is blocked off, so largely dry than average autumn would be expected. It could just be a slightly cooler potential with the temperature. The 200 millibar high anomaly shows it even better. The high pressure is quite a long way north, residing somewhere between Iceland and Greenland. Which is quite a long way north of high pressure to be going, and you could envisage that we might pull in some easterly and northeasterly winds, which of course later on, not necessarily in September, but later on into the autumn, if that's going on in November, for example, that anomaly, then that could be quite a cold anomaly, actually. The temperature anomaly is slightly above average from the Beijing Center, but probably not as much as with some of the other models. We're only in that pale yellow shading, so on the scale that's like half degree to 1 degree above average, so probably is in line actually with quite a few of those models which are around half degree to 1 degree above normal. But I think there's a little bit more cold potential with that 500 and 200 millibar height anomaly compared to quite a few of models, given how far north the ridge is. A drier than average autumn is predicted by the Beijing Climate Center, in line with most of these models, either average or drier than normal for this season. And then finally for this video, if you enjoyed it, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everyone doing that. Finally, we've got the UK Met, which looks like this, very classic sort of zonal westerly autumn, high pressure from the Atlantic into southwestern southern Europe, low pressure to the north. Jet stream is coming through, something a little bit like that. Could be a bit more unsettled for northern areas back compared to quite a few of the models that we've seen here. So that could bring some rain, wet and windy weather into northern areas of the country. The south would be mostly dry though with that sort of setup. And it would be quite a mild or warm autumn as well. So the temperature anomaly with the UK Met model looks like that, and it's above average once more. Precipitation-wise, just looks a little bit more unsettled, especially through the northern half of the country, with above average rainfall actually affecting northern areas. Southern areas are still largely drier than normal. Okay! So everyone, what do you make of that? Then what do you make of that? Well, I reckon we have to say like a warm season is expected. There's no model there actually going for below average temperatures. The whole run of them are above average to above average with the temperature on me. So obviously that is favoured. Precipitation-wise, one or two a little bit more unsettled, but I think overall a relatively dry season expected as well. And it just looks like it's going to be a lot of high-pressure domination going on into the autumn. So it has through the year, especially through this summer. It looks like that goes on for the autumn as well. So a relatively warm, dry autumn is expected. Remember, they're 3-monthly anomalies, so there could be a more unsettled and cooler month in there somewhere within that 3-monthly anomaly. But overall, a relatively dry and warm autumn. Looks like it's favoured from most of these models. Remember, this is not the forecast from GavsWeatherVids for autumn 2022, as we are not issuing a forecast for this autumn, have not looked at any data in detail other than these models for the autumn. So this is purely just what the model suite is showing, not a forecast. So from GavsWeatherVids, we are going to be back though doing the long range in just over a week's time on Sunday the 4th of September. We will have update number 1 for winter 2022-2023. I will be doing long-range updates then every week, right way through to winter forecasts that will release at the beginning of December. So the long-range bandwagon is about to get rolling once again. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please thank you, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. We'll be back with long range for winter 2022-2023 very soon. But for this seasonal roundup for autumn 2022, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.